Hello, hello, everyone. Gonna wait a few minutes for people to drop in. I'm hoping we'll get a cat this stream. Hey guys, welcome in. We're gonna wait a few minutes for everybody to arrive because I'm a little early. Hi Jeannie, welcome. How are you? How are you doing? Hi Leah. And I'm so sorry if I butcher anyone's name at any point. Yell at me in the chat. I'm doing pretty good. Hanging in there, you know. Same old apocalyptic universe that we live in right now, but doing good. Happy to be here with you guys. Excited to do this ritual with you all. It's going to be lots of fun. Okay, we're just going to wait a few more minutes since I started a little bit early. Just a little bit. Oh, I'm glad to hear that you need this today. If you're here already and you're planning on following along, doing the ritual with me, then feel free to drop in the chat. You don't have to if you want to keep it to yourself, but if you don't mind sharing, feel free to drop in the chat what deity you're going to plan on calling on. And yeah, just why you want to work with that deity, your little story behind your choice of deity for today. And I'll tell you guys a bit about the deity I chose for today also. At about 5 after, I'll get started. So if you're already here and you want to get up, walk around, go to the bathroom, get some water, get a tea, you've got time. We're going to start at 5 after. Isis, yay, Isis. Love her. Strong mother, yes. All right, just a couple more minutes. And I'm trying out some different times, some different days, so that as many people as possible can join in and have live stream times that are convenient for them. Because I know we've got different time zones, different countries, different continents, all want to join in. So we're going to be trying some different times, some different days as we continue our live stream journey here on my channel. Oh, Hecate and Lilith are beings you already work with. So, yeah, Isis can be good for a little bit of light. Yeah, Hecate and Lilith are a little bit more of the shadow. Yeah, Isis is a great addition to any pantheon of deities. She's so, so amazing. Those are three very strong and powerful women. I will tell you, wowza. Not a group I would want to mess with. Hi, Bethany, welcome in. Taking a break from shadow work to come join. Nice, nice. Shadow work is great. Yeah, we're going to be calling on a deity that we've never worked with before. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's get started and people can continue to trickle on in as I get through these little introductory things we got to talk about. Okay. So first, welcome to the live stream. I'm so excited to be doing this with you guys. I have been enjoying live streaming a little bit more than I thought I would. I initially was very scared and nervous at the concept of a live stream. I enjoy being able to film and then sit down and edit it and delete anything I want to delete. But I really enjoy being able to talk with you guys directly. Yeah, usually, well, what we're doing is calling on a deity to start working with them. So a lot of these deities are like for me, for example, I'll be calling on Heracles. So Heracles is a deity that has been calling me for a while, for a few months. Actually, I guess it's kind of been a year. Time flies during a pandemic. But yeah, so most people are choosing a deity that has been calling to them, but now we're doing a ritual to start working with that deity. So we're going to be evoking them into our space today with this ritual that I'll guide you guys through. But yeah, I'm so excited to be doing this with you guys. It's become clear as I've developed my channel and continued being on YouTube, making videos, doing live streams, that my deities and my spirit guides very much so want me to, the way they phrased it was bring their followers to them. So they're very happy that I'm doing this work. This is part of my offering to them, teaching you all. So I'm so happy to be here with you guys. And I love hearing that this helps you guys with your deity worship and understanding how to work with a deity. So I'm really excited to continue teaching about deity worship. Also, before we get started, quick reminder about super chats. Super chats are a great way to show me a little bit of support. YouTube is a lot of work and most of the time, not a lot of payoff. So, yes, the live stream will be available to replay once it's done. Once we're completely done, you'll be able to rewatch it whenever you want, as many times as you want. But yeah, so it'll be available after the fact if you're not ready to do the ritual today, or if you just want to do the ritual in the future and just watch today. Or maybe you're busy today and you're not available, but you'll be able to rewatch. But yeah, super chats are a great way to show me some support. So if you're able to give anything, any little bit helps, and I appreciate all of it. Hello, welcome in. Um, Another thing is in the Dropbox is a link to my Instagram account. Please go follow me there if you aren't already. I post a lot of updates, reminders for live streams and posts and videos. I also post polls there and things like that. Questions asking you guys what you want, what you prefer, what times are good for you, and things like that. So if you follow me on Instagram, you can be much more up to date in the moment on things that I've got going on and always see reminders on my story and things like that. So check out the Dropbox and hit that link to follow my Instagram. Yes, it's so true, Bethany. A lot of people talk about deity worship, but it's kind of secretive. Often people are like, what does that even look like? uh, so it's good to show it, display it. One last reminder that is unrelated, and then we'll get into the topic, is I am currently in the running for Inked Magazine's Next Cover Girl. That is also in the Dropbox, the link to vote for me. Voting is free, and you can vote once a day, every day. So if you're consistent with voting once a day, that is so, so helpful to me in keeping me high up in the placements. So please help me out with that. It's just a little silly thing that if I did win would be kind of amazing because there's a big cash prize that would so, so help me with all my work that I want to do in filmmaking and with spiritual work. So if you're able to vote, that's so helpful, and continue to vote every single day until it's over. So moving on to the topic of today, we are going to call on a deity that we want to work with, a deity that we have not worked with yet. Maybe this deity has been calling to you. Maybe you've been interested in this deity for a long time. And now we are going to finally start to foster a relationship with that deity and work with them. So, one quick note about this is that if you've watched my previous videos on my channel, especially the video I made, it was a dark moon vlog where I performed Depnon for Hecate. Yes, Leah, I do see that you vote pretty much every day. So I so, so appreciate you. Thank you so much. But in that Depnon video, and that's also linked down below if you haven't seen it, in that video, I really display how I do ritual, how I do ceremony, how I practice magic. I tend to be very silent. I tend to be quiet, and I will say things in my mind. I will not necessarily speak them out loud. That's just my own personal preference, my own personal style, the way I feel called to do things. For the sake of this video, I will say everything out loud so you can see, hear, experience, and really go along with me on this journey. I want you to be involved and understand what's going on. So it wouldn't be a very good way to teach if I was just silent and internal. So I will be speaking out loud, but typically I am pretty silent. And this is just my own personal preference again, because for me, I feel like speaking is a very human thing. It's something that we do for each other to communicate with each other. We can't exactly communicate telepathically or silently, other than, body language and things. But with spirit, they don't need us to out loud say something. They can always hear us and feel us, and they know what we're putting down. They pick up what we're putting down. But again, that's just personal preference. It's not better or worse to say it out loud. It's just what I like to do and the way I do things. But today I will say everything out loud for you all. So, and again, that Depnon video is down below if you want to watch that and you haven't seen it yet. So for today, you can choose to follow along with me, do the ritual side by side with me, follow each step as I'm doing each step. Because I'm going to do my own ritual with my own deity at the exact same time that you guys are doing yours. So we'll be doing the same thing together from wherever you guys are. So you can do that. You can follow along with me, or you can choose to just watch and observe. If you're not ready to do the ritual, or maybe you just want to learn and take notes, or maybe you just want to watch and have a good time and hang out in the spiritual space. It's all up to you. So you can do the ritual with me or choose to do it later. It's all up to you. But I will be walking you through everything. If you are doing the ritual with me, I assume you are in whatever sacred space you typically do your magical workings in. So if you're at your altar, you can feel free to set your laptop, your tablet, your phone, your technology on your altar, next to your altar, wherever you need to be able to see and hear me easiest while you're doing your ritual. So you can kind of do both. It will not insult your deities. It will not insult your altar or your spiritual space. They know that your technology is a part of what you're doing. They know that I'm teaching you, and so you're not insulting them with the presence of your laptop or your phone or whatever it is. So make yourself comfortable. Make sure that you're not going to be disturbed, so you're not, looking over your shoulder, being bothered by animals, kids, people, sounds, anything. Do whatever you can to be in your own space and not be bothered. So the first thing we're going to do, if you have not done it already, I did this before I went live. So if you haven't done it already, you're going to give your space and yourself a little quick cleansing. So you can do this any way that you like to cleanse. Clapping, using your broom, besom, smoke cleansing, water, quick flick of water over yourself and over your altar. If you have cleansing sprays, you can do that. Anything you want to do to cleanse your space. It's important to cleanse before we do a spiritual working. I just sprayed this spray I like, mainly just because I like the smell. But get your space ready, cleanse it, cleanse yourself, and we can start our ritual. So if you're going to follow along with me, we're about to get started. So make sure that you have a journal or your mirror book that you can write in during the ritual so you don't forget any of the messages that you receive from the deity that you're calling. We want to be able to catalog those things so we don't forget them. I'm so happy you're here too. Welcome. Yeah, and if you are just joining us and you are interested in sharing a little bit of what you're going to be working on today, what deity you're going to be calling, or why you're going to be calling on them, feel free to drop that in the chat. I love to hear other people's experiences, and it's fun to share with the community what you've got going on. I'm going to share with you guys which deity I'll be calling on also. So I'll share with you guys why I picked that deity. So feel free to drop that in the chat, and we'll have a little discussion about the deities we want to work with. But this ritual is for the purpose of meeting a deity for the first time. So we're not going to be doing this ritual for a deity that we've been working with for years or worked with for months now, or a deity that we know really well. We're meeting this deity for the first time. And it could be that this deity is communicating with you already. It could be that you are, sorry guys, one second. My mom is trying to call me. Tell her I can't talk. So, lost my train of thought. But this is a deity we have not worked with yet. It's a deity we've been wanting to work with, and they could have been calling to you for some time now. For example, the deity I'm going to be calling on has been calling to me now for about a year. So, bit overdue my reaching out back to this deity. But the deity I am going to call on is Heracles. I'm calling on Heracles because I'm hoping we'll get a cat at some point joining us, but one of my cats, whose name is Giles, if you've watched the videos on my channel, you've probably seen him a few times because he loves to pop in and hang out and try to get me to pay attention to him and only him. But he originally, when I adopted him, his name was Hercules. And I immediately fell in love with him and needed to adopt him. He was in a really messed up situation. He came from a hoarder situation where the person was living in an apartment with about 30 cats. And a lot of the cats were kept in cages that were too small for them. And a lot of the time there were 3 cats to 1 cage. So my poor little kitty Giles, he was coming off of a lot of trauma. But his name was Hercules, this powerful hero figure. So I loved that about him. And he was so timid. And I just needed to snatch him up and take him home and make him feel safe. And then I did change his name to Giles after the librarian from Buffy. And I kept his middle name as Hercules because, yes, all my pets have middle names. So his name is now Giles Hercules. But that is why I'm calling on Heracles. Ever since I adopted Giles, Heracles has been kind of consistently reaching out to me or making himself known to me in little ways every once in a while. So that's why I'm calling on Heracles. It's a bit overdue, but I'm excited to be working with him. I have a little altar that I'm getting set up for him. It's right up here on this shelf right here. You can't quite see all of it. He's cut off a little bit. But I just got statuary for him and still finding some things to place on the altar for him. But those are questions that I'll get answered today during this ritual. So now that hopefully, if you're following along with the ritual, you've cleansed your space and you're ready to start the ritual. You've cleansed yourself and your space. So now we're going to spend a few minutes, just like 2 or 3, doesn't need to be long, just settling our energies, calming ourselves down, preparing ourselves for ritual. So you might want to close your eyes, you might want to leave them open. It's all up to you. You want to get yourself into a comfortable seat so you can sit there for a period of time and not need to shift around too much. And while we're doing this, we are going to just start to notice and be present in the space. So we're going to start to notice how we feel. We're going to start to notice how our body feels, how our mind feels, and how the space around us feels. And really just pick up on even the subtlest things. And you can write these down in your journal, how things feel, or you can just note them to yourself in your head. You don't have to write them down. So you might notice that you're feeling really calm. You might notice that you're feeling really good. You might feel excited to connect with this deity you plan on calling on. You might, in the opposite, feel a little nervous to connect with this deity. Maybe it's one of the first deities you've connected to. Maybe you feel like your mind is racing. You're having a lot of thoughts. So just notice. So I'm just going to do that for a couple minutes, and you guys can do the same. And feel free to share in the chat how you're feeling going into this ritual, anything you're noticing about yourself, about your space. And you want to notice the energy around you also, because once we open ritual space, once we call on the deity, the energy in your space will most likely shift and change. It's good to take a few deep breaths. Maybe roll the shoulders back, shake the hands out. Just get yourself settled and relaxed and calm and feeling good. Put yourself in that mindset of performing a magical working, performing a spiritual working. Okay, how we feeling? We feeling good? We feeling ready to continue? Okay, so this next step is optional. We're going to cast a circle. So I am going to cast a circle here in my space. Casting a circle is something that not everybody does in their practice. And I have a video on my channel about casting a circle. So if you don't know how to cast a circle, or you just want some more information and guidance on casting a circle, that's in the drop box down below, how to cast a circle. So you can check that video out now or after the live stream is over. But casting a circle is for protection. So we cast a circle to open sacred space, to open ritual space, magical space, and to protect ourselves during ritual, during spell work, during any kind of magical working. So I personally, in my practice, since casting a circle is optional, I'll tell you a little bit how much I cast a circle. I go back and forth depending on which kind of ritual I'm doing, what's just what I have going on. I might choose to cast a circle, or I might choose not to. So when I'm calling on a being, an energy being, for the first time, I will almost always cast a circle. When I'm working with a deity that I've worked with for a long time, maybe I've worked with them for years or months, I know them really well. So I don't need, at least I feel, I don't need that extra bit of protection, because I feel like I can protect myself. I know how this deity feels when they're in my presence. I know how they act, how they speak to me. So if something was weird or if they were seeming strange, I would know and I would be able to act accordingly. But with meeting a deity for the first time or any energy being, you don't know what to expect. You've never met them before. It's just like meeting a human for the first time. You've never met them before and you don't know what's going on. You don't know what they'll feel like. You don't know how you'll feel when you're with them. So it can be nice to have that extra bit of cushion and protection that casting a circle gives you. So for that reason, today I'm going to be casting a circle. So I will cast a circle here on my end. You can choose for yourself if you want to cast a circle or not for this ritual. You can cast a circle yourself, however you do it, if that's in your practice. Or you can say, I don't really want to cast a circle, or I don't think I need to cast a circle. So you can just say, no, I'm not going to cast a circle. Or you can follow along with me as I'm casting my circle and just kind of mimic what I do and repeat the words as I say them and do the gestures I'm doing as I'm doing them. Or you can just sit silently in your space and allow me to cast your circle for you. As I'm casting my circle, I will keep in mind anyone out there right now, or even in the future, if you're playing this video back, I am keeping in mind kitty cats. Glenny, be nice. My oldest cat is a little bit sassy. Um, so I will be keeping in mind all of you out there that might be wanting me to cast a circle for you. So as I'm casting my circle, I will send that energy out to all that wish to have that energy. So if you want, you can just close your eyes and just listen to me cast the circle and visualize the circle being cast around you as well as my circle being cast here with me. Gretel, come over here. Gretel is my youngest cat, and she's the only cat that hasn't really ever shown herself on my channel. Because honestly, between you and me, I think she's kind of feral. But maybe we'll get her to peek in at some point. But yeah, so that's up to you. So you can choose now if you want to cast a circle or not. I'm going to cast a circle. One quick note about casting a circle before we get started is if you are going to follow along with me and cast the circle as I'm casting the circle, you need to know which direction your altar is facing or which direction you are facing as you're sitting. So for me, my altar, I'm usually when I'm performing ritual facing this way. So my altar's facing east, which is just personally what I like. People have their altars situated different ways, but my altar is situated facing east. So I know that that's important to know for casting a circle. So everybody's got a compass on their phone. So just whip your phone out and figure out which direction you're facing. That's important for casting a circle. Another note is that once we cast the circle, we are in ritual space. So once you cast this circle, once I cast this circle, we're going to be doing nothing but the ritual. So anything you need to do right now, do it now. Go to the bathroom, get water, get tea, blow your nose, get your journal, get your pen. Anything you need to do it right now, because once we cast our circle, we're not going to be able to get up and move and any of that stuff. And we're not going to be doing anything mundane also. We're not going to pick up our phone and respond to a text. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to remain focused on our ritual in our ritual space so we can have the greatest and highest good. Another note about circles is that you cannot leave the circle once you have cast it. You will break the energy field of the circle and the circle will be no more. So you will undo everything you just did and you'll have to cast it again. There is a more advanced technique called cutting a door in your circle, which is, again, much, much more advanced. So that's a whole separate topic. If you are able to do that, obviously go right ahead and cut a circle to your heart's delight. Cut a door to your heart's delight. But keep in mind that if you don't know how to do that, you need to have all your tools with you, everything you need with you right here at your altar to start the ritual before you cast the circle, because otherwise you're going to have to do it all over again, which can be really annoying. Okay. So I am going to cast the circle. Again, choose for yourself if you want a circle cast for you. And typically I face this way. So I tend to start, and again, everybody casts a circle differently. So if this isn't the way you cast a circle, don't think you're doing anything wrong or that I'm doing anything wrong. We're both right. It's all about the way you feel called to cast a circle, the way that you think is correct. Because if it feels correct for you, then you'll have the outcome of casting a circle. That's all that matters. The order doesn't necessarily have a strict rule to it. It's all about preference. To be present for this ritual, to stand in their watchtowers and keep us safe. I call on the direction of south and the element of fire to be present during this ritual, to stand in their watchtowers and keep us safe. I call on the direction of west and the element of earth to be present for this ritual, stand in their watchtowers and keep us safe. I call on the direction of north and the element of air to be present for this ritual, stand in your watchtowers and keep us safe. The circle is cast, it is my will, so mote it be. All right. Oh, such a nice feeling. I never get over it. So now that we have our circle cast, we are going to spend a couple minutes in this space just being grateful and being present, feeling calm, and preparing ourselves to meet this energy being that we're opening ourselves up to. So now the way we are going to call on this deity is simply by stating our intention. We can state our intention out loud, or we can state our intention silently to ourselves, so it's up to you. I will usually do it silently to myself, but I will say it out loud so you all can hear me and see how I do it, hear how I do it, and do the same for yourself. And it's really however you want to word it. I always just spitball it in the moment. I call on the god Heracles to this sacred circle, to my altar. I humbly ask that he come as I call, to be present with me so that I may begin to know him. And as you state this intention, you can close your eyes, you can keep your eyes open, it's up to you. And pay attention to the subtle energies. Pay attention to how things shift. Maybe you suddenly feel a presence in your space with you. Maybe you suddenly feel very calm. Maybe you suddenly feel very energized. Every deity is different and every deity feels different. So for me, for example, I called on Heracles and I feel his presence strongly. He feels very, very strong, powerful. But he also has a sadness to him. And if you know some of the mythology of Heracles, this is very expected of him. He's had a lot of pain, but he's also had a lot of courage and heroics. So it's a mixed bag for him. So, knowing your deity, what are you picking up? What are you getting from them? Welcome, SD. Thank you for coming in. Nice to see you again. So we're spending time with this deity. We're just sitting in the space with them. And this is where you might want to start to write things down in your mirror book. You might want to write down initially how you're feeling with this deity in your space with you. You might want to write down, maybe you're even with your eyes closed, seeing them in your third eye, in your mind's eye. You might be seeing an image of their face, of their clothing, of their, sometimes deities, you see their hands, you see their feet. You might be hearing their voice even. You might be feeling them even touching you. Occasionally I'll feel a brush and I'll be like, "Oh," and then I look and there's nothing there. So it's whatever being we're working with, giving us a tap, giving us a hug. So anything you notice, write it down, journal it, and prepare yourself to start asking this deity questions. And everybody has a different level of natural psychic intuition. So you might already be receiving messages or answers. Sometimes people immediately are receiving a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Um, so if you are, feel free to just start writing it down, writing it down. Now we are going to just give them a quick, and again, you can say it out loud or silently to yourself, just a quick thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for answering my call. I am grateful to you and happy to be in this space with you. Oh my gosh. Sometimes deity will even, um, they communicate differently with everyone. And my deities know that I'm a bit sassy. I can be a little bit of a, I like to read, I like to throw shade, and they love to throw it back at me. So when I said thank you to him, I felt a very strong, took you long enough. Because like I said, he's been calling on me for about a year now. So he's been waiting on me. It's my sister's dog, so sorry. She's barking. Okay, so now we are going to ask this being questions. These questions are for the purpose of helping you to get to know them. It's kind of like this is a first date with this deity. So we are asking them these questions so that we can begin to cultivate our relationship with this deity. And all these questions are in the Dropbox. So use these questions as a jumping off point. You might not like a question, you might not like how it's worded, you might not have that question, you might not feel you need to ask that question. That's totally up to you. Ask any questions that come to mind, any questions that you've been ruminating on. But these questions are just for you to have a starting point. Sometimes a certain question won't get much of an answer or much of a response. That doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong or that the deity isn't present. It might just mean that there's no answer or that you didn't necessarily resonate with the question. The question didn't resonate with you. So that's totally okay. Move on to the next question or ask the question in a different way, reword it in a way that you like better. And again, all the questions are in the Dropbox. So if I'm going too fast or too slow, feel free to just go to the Dropbox and read the questions there. So the first question we are going to ask, I'm going to grab my mirror book because I need to write these down too. This first question we're going to ask our deity that we've called on is, what can you help me with? What can you help me with? Now, our next question is going to be, how can I best honor you? How can I best honor you? And again, you can ask these questions out loud or silently to yourself. The deity will hear them either way. Now, our next question, how can I work with you? How can I work with you? This next question is a two-parter. Would you like offering from me? If so, in what form and how often? So, would you like offering from me? If so, in what form and how often? Now, this is our last question, and it's a big one, so we'll spend a little bit more time on it because it's very open ended. But the question is, are there any other messages that you have for me before I close this ritual space? Are there any other messages you have for me before I close this ritual space? In this question, their answer could be about anything. They might address something that's personal to you. They might tell you how much they love you. They might tell you how excited they are to work with you. Or they might tell you more about how you can work with them. And take your time finishing this last question. But once you've finished it, thank them for being present, again, out loud or just silently to yourself. They'll hear you either way. Thank you, Heracles, for coming, answering my questions. I look forward to cultivating a relationship with you. Thank you for the guidance that you've shared. And thank you to all the peoples, deities out there. Hello, welcome in. Thank you to every deity that is present for every person who's currently doing this ritual alongside me. Thank you all for being here. We are so, so grateful. So take your time finishing your question if you're not done. I am going to close the circle and close the ceremonial space, and then we'll chat to wrap things up. Direction of east, an element of water. I thank you for your presence during this ritual, for keeping us safe, and I release you now. Direction of south, an element of fire. Thank you for being present for this ritual and watching over us, keeping us safe. I release you now. Direction of west, an element of earth. Thank you for being present during this ritual, for watching over us and keeping us safe. I release you now. Direction of south, element of fire. We thank you for being present during this ritual, watching over us and keeping us safe. We release you now. Okay, our ceremony is closed, our circle is closed. We've released the directions and the elements. And now we're just going to spend a few minutes in quiet gratitude, processing everything that we just received and everything that just happened. Sometimes it can be a bit of a high coming off of a spiritual working like that. So just spend a couple minutes settling your energies, being grateful. Maybe you're still taking notes, finish taking notes. Thank you so much, SD, for the support. I appreciate it so, so much. Okay. If you did the ritual along with me, how was it? Hope you had a positive experience meeting this deity you chose for the first time. I'll share a bit about what happened for me. Not everything, 'cause some of it is personal, but I'm so, so happy and feel very spacey, which is common after a working like this. Um, but so happy with my first meeting of Heracles. I'm feeling like he gave me a lot of good information about how to work with him. Um, and it was nice that last question, him telling me the things he feels he can help me with, the things he has in common with me, the similarities we've had in our lives. Yes, I'm so, so grateful. So if anyone wants to share, feel free to share in the chat anything that happened for you during the ritual. If you just watched or you got here late, this will be available to rewatch. So you'll be able to do this ritual whenever you want to come back to it. It'll be available to you. And again, the questions are in the Dropbox. So you can read those at any point, take them, use them as you will. So now that we are post ritual, yes, SD, these deities are us. We are all a little slice of divinity. That's why it's so powerful. So we're strobing again, but I want to thank you all for coming and for being present for this ritual. I appreciate the support so, so much. And I hope that you guys had a positive experience. Now that we're post ritual, it's a good idea to take a few minutes to do something mundane, something grounding. So maybe you want to eat some food, drink some water, put your feet in the grass, stand in the sun, do something that will bring you back strongly into your body, since we were just doing something so spiritual and more metaphysical and less mundane. You can also do a chore or something, clean something that's very grounding. Also, take a shower. Any of those things work great. So I hope you all had a great experience with this ritual, and I hope you guys have an amazing relationship with this deity that you've just started a relationship with. Remember, any support you can send to me is so, so helpful through Super Chat, Venmo, anything. Even just a subscribe is so, so helpful. So thank you for being present. I really appreciate all of you, and I'm so grateful for this little community that we've cultivated. So thank you for being a part of it. Leah, there is no one right answer. That's the thing is, um, oh, thank you, Bethany. I'll answer your question 1 second. But Leah, what are you feeling or seeing or anything to know it is the right answer? They're communicating with you and you alone, specifically to you. So what they know how to communicate with you. So you're never going to misinterpret them, really. First thought, best thought. Your instinctual first thought is the message you received, because that's your intuition, that first thought. And then after that, that's when your brain starts to come in and try to make sense of it. So the thoughts you have after are your mundane human brain trying to make sense of it. Your initial thought is your intuition, it's the message you received. And it's meant for you. So you're meant to understand it. It shouldn't be hard to understand. It's meant for you and you alone. And it's really just practicing, getting used to trusting yourself. And sometimes you receive a message and you don't quite understand it until later. Sometimes you receive a message and a couple days later something happens that makes it make sense. Or you're sleeping and a dream helps you make sense of it, or you're meditating and you're like, oh, I finally understand what that means. So sometimes you don't understand right away. But Bethany asks, how do you know who is reaching out to you? There are so many different pantheons with similar attributes in the deities. It's so true, Bethany. I have a whole video on my channel about how to know what deity is calling to you. So check that out. I'll put it in the Dropbox after I end the live here, but that's on my channel, so check that out. But yes, if anytime a being you're feeling like you're receiving something mean or scary, it's not deity. It's not deity at all. But thank you guys so much, and thank you for the super chats. I appreciate it so, so much. I can't even tell you. This work means a lot to me, and communicating with you all. This is part of my offering to my deities, and I love, love, love teaching, and I love my spirituality also. So, and I love all of you. So thank you so much. But thank you for being present. I'm gonna get going, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you all. Blessed be everyone. Rose, I'll answer your question really quick before I go. I would say don't start working with a demon on the first go. If you've never worked with an energy being, start with something nice and easy. and then move on to things of the shadow. I personally have worked with beings of the shadow, such as demons and things like that. But that's much more complicated. So I would say start with something smaller, something easier, a nicer deity that's not going to try to mess with you. Because, when you get into demons, demons can lie, demons can mess with you, and you got to be able to see through their bullshit. Thank you all so much. You guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Blessed be. Mwah.